Hi there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and in this video I'm going to show you how to put together June's Stamp Club card packet. Now before I get started, I just want to let you know that I have 2 extra packets. So if you're out there and you have all the supplies you see in the video, because I'll supply all the consumables, you just have to supply the bundle in this case, which is the ice cream swirl, the inks, and the adhesive, and then I'll send you a packet. If you want a packet, all you have to do is place an order, $35 or more before shipping and tax, and use the host code in the description, and I'll send you the packet. Like I said, I only have 2 left. So the first 2 orders to get in will get the packets. Now, if you want to email me to make sure I still have packets, my email's in the description. Check there and just let me know. I'll happily let you know whether I have any packets left or not. So on that happy note, let's go ahead and get started. Let me clean up my area a little bit here. We usually do club on Zoom, and then I do a video like this when club is over for those that can't make it to the Zoom meeting and still have their packets and need to make their cards. But we're going to start with all of this fresh freesia stuff here in the back. So let me show you the pieces and make sure you have the right pieces ready. So we have 1 piece of fresh freesia that is 11.5 by 4.5. 4 1/4, beg your pardon, so you can see. If I tell you the measurements too, you can check them. They're all on my blog, becreativewithkathy.com, and all the measurements and the supplies that I used today are on there too, and it's under June's 2024 Stamp Club. Okay, so the fresh freesia, the half sheet of cardstock, 11 by 4 1/4, and then you have another piece of fresh freesia here that layers nicely with these 2 pieces that are the same of basic white. Make sure they layer on there nicely. Yes, I cut them nice, and there's very little border. Those 2 pieces there. We have a piece of Pool Party and a piece of Crumb Cake here. We also have a little Pool Party stitched square and a basic white switch stitched square. Try to say that. Oh, anyway, those layer nicely. And then you have a piece of early espresso that I have taken a piece of duct tape and laid it on the front, and then, or packing tape, not duct tape, I beg your pardon. That clear packing tape is what's on the front. That's what makes it shiny like that. Phew, that was almost wrong. And then I put a piece of adhesive sheet on the back. So this is going to turn into a sticker. And then you have your 4 pieces here of designer series paper. Okay, now your designer series paper might be a little bit different than mine, but they all look good. Some are stars and some are circles like this, but they all look good and they all coordinate with the paper that we're using. So let's start with our stamping. I'm going to start first of all, and you know what, we just finished club, and I finished club using Flirty Flamingo on my stamp here, so I need to wash it really quick and get it back to Pool Party, because we're going to use... sorry about that. My cat almost came right in the middle of my video. We're going to use, we're going to use Flirty Flamingo on our 3rd card. So I'm going to ink this up good in Pool Party ink, the same color as our cardstock. And just take that and stamp it right here on that Pool Party cardstock. There we go. And then I'm going to wash that again because, like I said, we're going to use that again on the 3rd card, or really it's the 2nd card, 3rd project, and I'm going to use it in Flirty Flamingo. I want to make sure I have that all ready and clean. Okay. And then on this piece here, we're going to do some die cutting. On this little square here, we're going to take some early espresso ink and that little stamp that says Yum Yum. Here it is. And we're going to stamp that on that little square. And it fits on there just right. If you're interested, these little squares are die cut from the Stylish Shape dies. Okay, but they come in your packet already cut and ready for you. Okay, now I think we need to do some die cutting. So let me bring in my die cut machine. And I'm going to bring in my plates first and lay those on my plates, and then I'll run them through the machine. Okay, so this one is the ice cream. We're just going to take out of the die set here that large ice cream die that cuts that out. Where's my top plate? Here it is, my top plate, and run that through. I guess that's another thing that's probably not on the supply list, is you will need a die cut machine, some way to use those dies. But I'm assuming if you have the dies, then you have a die cut machine. Okay, and cut that up. And we'll cut that out. Like this. Set that down. I didn't even show you the card yet, did I? Sorry about that. Let's cut out a couple more pieces and then I'll show you the card. Now on this one, we're gonna cut out the ice cream, the cone, and we're gonna use both pieces. We're gonna cut this piece and lay that in there. They layer in there together like that. Oop, I'm not in the camera. There we go, like that. And then we're gonna just lay that down there. I might have to go get my, well, nope, I'm looking around. I don't have any Post-it tape right here. Yes, I do. Hang on, we're gonna have to tape that down to get that to stay. I'm gonna line that up. There we go. And now I'll just put some Post-it tape on there and we're good. Bring in that die cut machine again, the Stampin'. There we go. And run that through. I'm going to put my dies away so just I have them handy and I can find them for the next card. I'll hang on to my Post-it tape. I'll probably need that again. Okay, and then the last thing we want to run through the die cut machine is this little piece here with that piece of packing tape, this one here. So we're just going to lay that on here. Now, when you run this through, it's not going to cut all the way through. It's going to cut, but it won't, the pieces won't drop out. They're going to turn into, like I said, stickers, and you can then just take them out with your take a pick tool, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's too thick to totally cut through, but I'm going to lay that on my platform here, which you probably can't see, but I'm going to run that through. There we go. Now I think we're all done with die cutting, and I forgot one more thing that I want to stamp. With that early espresso ink, I'm going to stamp on one of those white pieces. This would be the back of our card. Let me show you the card. Sorry, it looks like this, right? Now, this one I stamped with basic gray ink, but I decided I like the early espresso better, and we're going to use it in another card, so that way you really don't need the basic gray, but this is what the card looks like. And this is cased from Rose Coleman, I believe, from Canada, so thank you, Rose, for sharing. But this is what I'm saying. I want to stamp this back here, and this again is basic gray, but I'm going to use early espresso to stamp that on there too. And then the card closes up like this, and it still fits in an envelope. So let's get that stamp set that says, "Hope your day is sweet." Although here you could really stamp anything, maybe happy birthday, enjoy your day. What other stamp sets you have, you could stamp here too. And it looks like that. There we go. Nice job. All right. Now let's go ahead and we have all of our pieces. We can assemble our card. oh, we need to score our cardstock. Now, I'm scoring the cardstock and cutting all the score lines and cut just to show you how, but in your packets, it's already done for you. So you just have to fold, and I'll show you that later. But I'm gonna show, in case you wanna make the card again, how that you prepare your cardstock. Okay, so I'm gonna take this into my paper trimmer here, and I am going to score. So on my paper trimmer, I have two. This is the cutting blade. This is the scoring blade. So I'm gonna move the cutting blade out of the way. I'm gonna use the scoring blade. And I am going to score at 1 inch. So line my cardstock here. This is the 11-inch side up here. And of course, this is 4 1/4. But I'm gonna lay that at 1 inch and score. And then slide this over to 2 3/4. And line that up and score it again, and then at 3 3/4, and then score it again. Now I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing to the other side. So here we were at 1 inch, score it, oops, it's not straight, there we go, at 1 inch, 2 3/4, 3 3/4. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut that hole in the center for that pop-up part to come up out of the card. So I'm gonna place my cardstock over here. I'm gonna get it ready to score at 5 1/2. But first, I wanna bring in my cutting blade, and I'm gonna cut from 1/2 inch down to 3 3/4. I have to stand up, so hang on a second here. Let me stand up. And I'm gonna cut, like I said, up to that 1/2 inch and then down to 3 3/4. So it's basically a 1/2 inch from each side. Now I'm going to move my paper. I'm gonna get that cutting blade out of there and put in my scoring blade, and then I'm gonna score the whole thing right over that cut mark. Now, if you do it this way, you get a nice clean cut. If you score it first, your cutting blade sometimes has trouble going through that paper, and so you need to make sure you cut it and then score it on that 5 1/2 inch score line. Okay, does that make sense? Just a little tip there, if you're having trouble and your paper is ragged, that's what you need to do. Okay, let's set that aside. We have all of our pieces and parts now, I believe, and so we're gonna take first thing, these two basic whites, and we just want to adhere them front and back to that, what color is that? Fresh Freesia. Whew, that was a tough one. And it has a itty bitty little border, so just be careful when you put it down. You want to keep that little tiny border there. Just like that. And then on the other side, we're going to tape that one with the greeting. An itty bitty border again. So you put that on there. There we go. Okay, now we're going to turn this over on this side. We're going to add our ice cream. So I'm going to cut off where that seam is, where the score line is here, and just cut away the top of that ice cream cone. We don't need that. Like that. Okay. I'm going to take this with just some liquid glue. And remember, a liquid glue, green glue, a little bit goes a very long way. Maybe if we can get it to start here. There he goes. So I'm going to just use a little bit here, make sure it adheres to that card. And I'm going to attach this as low as I can to this piece here. And that way we have room here for our ice cream cone. I'm going to just use liquid glue and put that down in the same way. Now I'll tell you real quick too, if you're part of my stamp club, be sure and hang out to the end. I'm hoping I remember at the end of the video to tell you this. We use this bundle for June and July, and now for August and September we need to pick a new bundle, and I'll have the list of bundles for you to choose. You know, we'll do a vote and you choose which bundle you would select. But I'll also have a list of them in the description. That will help too. And then later I'll call you and ask you which ones, what's your choice. Okay, so now I'm gonna put my paper, my cardstock down so that the bump of the score line, I can see the bump. And then I'm gonna fold all of these score lines inward. That one in, take this one, fold this one in, like this, and then turn it around and do the same thing to this side. And I am making sure they line up at the side so that my card will be, well, it'll look good when I'm done. And then the score line. And then while we're at it, let's go ahead, although that score line, because we cut it, is already pretty full. So then you should end up with a piece that looks like this. Okay, now I have a little technique here for you. So I'm gonna bring in some tear and tape, and I'm gonna use a glue pen, or a glue stick, excuse me. Now my glue stick is a cheap Dollar Tree glue stick. It doesn't have to be a fancy glue stick, just needs to be a glue stick. And I'm gonna take my tear and tape here, and I'm gonna place it at the top of this. Now I've taken my cardstock and I fold on that last score line here, and I'm gonna just add tear and tape here, like this. Okay, then I'm going to take my ice cream cone piece here. I'm gonna slip it through that slit that we put at the top, I'm gonna call it, or the middle of our cardstock, and slide that down. This is still fold right, and we're gonna attach this centered in between here, the cut mark here, and we're gonna attach it flush with the bottom piece here. So I'm gonna take that tear and tape covers off. Adhesive, what is this, what's this stuff called? I call it the cover, so I guess that works. And then we're gonna take our glue stick. Now I'm gonna cover my tear and tape with my glue stick. This gives us just a couple seconds that we can move stuff around. You know how when you use green glue and it's not quite dry and you can kind of slip and move your paper a little bit? That's what this glue stick, sorry I can't talk and do, well I guess I can, but anyway, that's what the glue stick is gonna do now to the tear and tape. Now I made sure I didn't get any on my cardstock. It's only on that tear and tape on this tab. Okay, then we're gonna slide this down, making sure it's centered and flush with the bottom, and I can kind of lift it up and slide it around and make sure it's just where we want it. So I'm gonna leave it about there, press that down. Okay, looks like that. Then I'm going to finish it up and take my tear and tape again and put tear and tape across where I put the tear and tape last time, only across the ice cream cone too. Okay, now we're gonna take this piece here, we're gonna fold it down, and we're gonna cover our card, whoops, our card just like that. So see, it's folded, and we're gonna just lay it just like this. So I'm not gonna put the liquid glue on there. There should be no room. We don't have to worry about slipping and sliding, because we're gonna just take those covers off, fold that tab down here, and then just lay it down, and it looks like that. So now your card should look like this, and it should slide up and down. Now at first it might be difficult to slide, but the more you play with it, the more this is going to be, it'll just give it some extra room in there, maybe sand that paper down. I don't know how it works, it just does. So there's our card base like that. Cute, right? Okay, so now we'll take that designer series paper, and there's two pieces that are a little bit bigger. They fit up here at the top, and then those thinner strips fit in the middle piece, and they should fit just right between those score lines. So let's just put some tape runner here. Oops, didn't mean to slam it down there. And just set that little border right here. There's one, and then we'll put the thinner one here. Lay that one right here. Now, if there's a pattern of your designer series paper that you like more than the other, I would suggest you put that in the front, and then on the back, we'll put the other one. And we're going to lay this right here. And then this piece, the last one, on that second little, or that middle strip here. Just like we did on the front. And there we go. Now we have a decorated little box. So let's go ahead and decorate our ice cream now. I'm going to take this little piece. Now remember when I told you it ran through the die cut machine, it cut it out, but it didn't separate all the little pieces. So I'm going to use the little point of my take a pick tool, and I'm going to just dig out. Now they have adhesive on the back because of the adhesive sheets. And then I'm going to just set those, and I'm going to make sure I press and make sure they're really nicely adhered to that ice cream, because they have to go down in that cut mark that we made, like the ice cream does. And so I'm going to make sure that they don't get hung up or they don't pop off. I'm going to really press them down there and get them stuck good. But I'm going to take all these little pieces, well, now we can call them stickers, and set those just randomly on our ice cream. So I promised my club members that in this video I would show them how to do the duct tape on the cardstock, and I didn't get it done, so I'm going to do an extra video. You can see that on my YouTube channel, and I'll have that here. As soon as I'm done here, I'll just do a quick little video showing you how to make shiny cardstock stickers. That's what I'm going to call them. Shiny cardstock stickers. We're almost done. In fact, I'm going to cover the whole thing with all those little stickers, because why waste them? I think these also could be used as confetti. Maybe you're going to make a shaker card, and these would be really cute confetti for the shaker card too. But in this case, they're meant as a mint chocolate chip ice cream, which I know is a favorite of a lot of us. Here we go, we're almost done. Two more. Let me figure, he's gonna go down here. Oh yeah, and then that last piece will fit nicely. He's gonna, of course the last one's gonna, no, he's not gonna give me trouble. I thought he was gonna give me trouble. He'll fit right, where do we want him? Right here, right here. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hold on to him. I'm gonna take this one and move it up here and put this one down there. There we go. Now, a little pressure on all those without moving them around. Make sure they're nice and stuck. And now I want this one over here. There it goes. Oh well, they're never going to be perfect. Good enough. Push those all down, and now we have a decorated ice cream on our card. Looks like that. Okay, then we're going to attach this little yum to this green, or the pool party square, and I'm going to just put that flat onto the square, and then I'm going to use a couple dimensionals to attach that to my card front. Hang on, I have to get him back. I misshaped him from putting the, oh, and I lost one of my little, did you see that? I must not need that one. Okay, so I'm going to put a dimensional here and a dimensional here, and then just set that little yum yum right here on my card. And there you go. Now, like I said at first, it might take a little bit to get that ice cream to slide up and down, but there you go. And then of course, here, let's take him from the back. I found him, and I'm not going to use him. I'm going to put him in the trash. He lost out. But on the back here is where you'd write your message. So there is card number 1. Okay, let's go on now. This time, because I promised my club members that I would show them how to use the whole part of the ice cream cone of the die set. So we have a special project in this one, and we're gonna need this long piece of crumb cake. We have 2 pieces the same size, and that is early espresso and very vanilla. We have a piece of crumb cake that has all these score lines on it. We have a scrap of white, and then we have a stitch circle, also from those stylish shape dies. And let's do our stamping first. There's not much stamping on this card. It's not a card, it's a project, and I'll show it to you as soon as we finish our stamping. So with some early espresso, I am going to ink up that Yum Yum again, and I'm gonna stamp that right down on that little circle there. Nice. And then using black Memento ink. Now I'm going to use black Memento ink because I'm going to color with my Stampin' Blends, but I just want to color real quick, or stamp, excuse me, real quick, 2 of those little cherries to go onto my project. Okay. And our project, let me see where it's at, is right, I had, oh, here it is, right here where he should be. It looks like this. So it's just a little stand-up box. You can put a little bit of candy in there. And I cased it from a lady named Donna, and I apologize, Donna, I can't remember her last name, but those will be in the description of the video too. So I've always been told, or at least I've been told, is that you need to cut first and then color in case you don't do well with your coloring and you don't waste all that time coloring. However, I think it's easier to color on a bigger piece of cardstock, so I'm going to color mine first in Real Red and Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to start with the light Real Red and just color that whole little cherry. And I promise I don't like to watch people color. Maybe that's, well, probably because I am not a fan of coloring, so it'll go quick, I promise. But I'm going to just put the full layer down, and then with my dark Real Red, I'm just going to highlight where Stampin' Up! Has put the shadowing on the stamp like that, or on, yeah, on the stamp set. They have it, all the work done for you. You just got to follow along. They make it very easy. And then you have a little 2-toned cherry with a little bit of shading. So let's do it again to this one. And then again, take that dark, and I'm going to just highlight where the shadows would be, something like that. And then come and blend those in with my light again. And look how cute and easy it is to color those cherries. Now, I'm not going to use the light Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to use the dark because we just have a little bit of area up in this stem right here to put some green. Okay. Let's cut those out. Let me grab my cherry die. My plates for my cut and emboss machine. And while I'm cutting these out, I'm going to go ahead and cut out a couple of those other parts of the ice cream square. I'm going to lay one here and hold that together. And then this long strip of crumb cake, I'm going to lay that part down. I'm going to lay this piece down, and we'll see if I need another piece of Post-it tape. Lay that down. No, I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to just wing it. Famous last words, huh? I don't need to. Lay this down, and I'm going to cut this out. Hold that tight. Bring in my machine and cut those out. There we go. Okay, now we need to cut out that other cherry and some of that chocolate and vanilla swirl to go at the top of our ice cream. So we'll bring in this die and this die. And those 2 pieces of cardstock here. Here's our early espresso. Now, I want a vanilla base with a chocolate swirl. So I'm gonna put this die on this piece of cardstock and this die on that piece of cardstock. Let's move our die down to our second cherry. Look how cute that is. Is that not adorable? Just a little cherry. And then we'll lay this one, line this up with our cherry. And so far, no problem coloring first and cutting second. Seems to have worked out for me. Cut that down, or paste that down. Bring in that machine one more time. And then run this through. My cord to my phone is stuck on my cut and emboss machine. There, I got him out of the way. Okay. And now we have these pieces all cut. Our second little cherry. I still think they're adorable. Okay, and we have our vanilla swirl. We have our chocolate swirl. I'm gonna put my little cherry back in there. Throw these in the trash. Set this down. And let's poke out the pieces here. Oh, I have my die brush. That would work even better. Okay. And now just gently, because there's little tiny pieces on that ice cream swirl, take that out. Now let's assemble. Oh, no, we need to make our box first. Almost forgot. So we're going to take this with all the score lines, and first I'm going to score. I'm going to fold on those score lines, and I'm going to use my bone folder so it gets nice and crisp. And then bang the glass. Isn't that the new glass mat there that everybody's using? And then bang, slap the glass. Okay, then we're going to take our little paper snips here. Now, I would call this the top, the ends, and these are the sides. And on the side, I'm going to just cut away that little score line. So if you get close to it and cut to that score line and cut that one, and you make a little gap like that. So let's do that to all four of them, or two on each side. Now, if you're ever having trouble with the ends of your box, or necessarily the corners of your box, I'll show you a little trick here that'll help you get nice tight corners on your boxes. I'm going to lay it down here. If you fold this up and you can see the score line on each side, then you know that your corners are going to be nice. Same with the sides. You want to make sure that you can see the score line. Whoops, see, so this one I can't see the score line. I need to trim just a little bit more from this side, because otherwise that would have got snagged on the corner. I have an issue right here. Maybe I'm gonna trim them here. There we go. Now my issue is almost gone. I think it'll be okay. Okay, we checked these sides. This side's fine, this side's fine, this side's fine. Okay, now we're good to go. So on these little tabs here, I'm gonna just put some liquid glue. And you know what, this time I'm gonna put some liquid glue, like I had thought. It doesn't work. I'm gonna put the liquid glue. Why is my liquid glue? There he goes. A little bit on this side, a little bit on this side, and then tuck those under. Pull these up, and I have a nice square little box right here. Okay, let's do the same thing to the other side. And tuck those under. And now we have the little base that this is where you would put your candy or your treat of some kind in your little box here. We're going to take this, I'm going to just fold on that score line right there down the center. And then I'm going to glue each side to the box. Okay. Now to glue it to the box, I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the bottom of my ice cream cone here. And then just a little bit of glue in the center of the side of my box. This way I know where I want my glue and it won't get glue where I don't want it, because we don't want a sticky project. And then lay that down, so now we have glue at the bottom and the top, and no glue where we don't want it, right? Perfect. Let's do the same thing to this side. A little bit of glue at the side, a little bit of glue here down at the bottom. Stick that here and hold that down for just a second. Make sure to get a good seal on that glue, and now we have our little stand-up part. Okay, let's put our ice cream together. A little bit of glue. I'm gonna bring in my silicone mat just so I don't get glue on my work surface. Whoops, got a lot there, but I think I'll be okay. Now I want to make sure so my card stays put together, a little bit at the top, and maybe, it's coming out hard here, a little bit, there we go, along the sides here. And then maybe a little bit right here. That looks good. It doesn't take a lot, a little bit of do ya, and no one's going to be trying to pull it off of your ice cream, so you shouldn't need much glue. Let's set this right here. And look how cute that vanilla cone is. Now a little bit of glue at the bottom of our ice cream, and we'll just set that atop our cone. And you know, I think I'm gonna do just a little bit more. I want to make sure my ice cream doesn't come off the cone. Let's set that about there. There we go. And then I'm gonna put my 2 cherries, one at the bottom here and one at the top, just flat with Tombow glue or liquid glue. There. And one up here. And then those little words I'm gonna put on with dimensionals. So just a couple dimensionals on that little circle. Right here where the ice cream meets the cone, and there you go, you have your little treat box that you could put. I think this would be cute if you had an ice cream social and you needed placemats, place setters, name place tags, whatever you put at a table side so the person knows where to sit, and a cute little gift in there. Alrighty, let's go to our final project. Now this, if you're wondering, is the 3rd card, and I wished I remember who I cased this from. But if you're looking for this stamp set here, now I used a retired stamp, Hey Chuck, and then I thought, oh no, because I wanted a current stamp. So there's a little kid stamp in the stamp set, or in the catalog, and I should have checked the name, but it's one with all the little kids in there. There's a Hey or It's Your Birthday stamp in there, and there's also one in one of the Kits collections, the Sparkly Birthday. So if you need an It's Your Birthday stamp, that's where you'll find it. Okay, that one's already made for you in your packet using the same bundle, kind of a gift for me. And next one, we'll do this. We'll do everything out of our packet. We're almost done. Hang on there. Hang in there. That's what I meant. Hang in there. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp on our tissue paper, because I want our tissue paper to dry, or have a chance to dry, before we need to use it. So I'm going to take my tissue paper and I'm going to wad it up. I should have showed you on your tissue paper, there's a shiny side and there's a flat side. And I'm going to try to ink and stamp on the flat side. But after you wad it up in a ball like this, and then you unwad it, and then you wad it again, we just want it to get really nice and crinkled. One more time. Give it a good press. Unwrinkle it. There we go. And now it's pretty. Now I'm going to try to figure out which side is the shiny side and which side. I think this is the shiny side, so this is the matte side. And I'm going to bring in a piece of scratch paper, because I'm worried the ink is going to go through my paper and through my tissue paper and make a mess. So I got my tissue paper here, And I want to make sure that my tissue paper is wide enough that my ice cream can stamp on there. So it is wide enough. I didn't crumble it up too much. I'm going to bring in that Flirty Flamingo ink. Now I'm going to have a very light hand because I don't want a lot of ink on there, and it's going to bleed out just a little bit. So I'm going to take my ink pad here and just tap on my tissue paper. So it looks, I think that looks good. I'm going to stop right now. One more time, but I think that looks good. I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. And let's get the rest of our card, and then we'll come back to that. Okay, so then on this is our card base, which I know is a little bit smaller than normal, but I'm going to stamp. Now I have the bump of the score line where I can see it. That's how I like to have my scores. I'm going to bring in that Flirty Flamingo ink again and that little cute strawberry from the stamp set and just stamp it down here. This is the inside of our card, and I want a little bit of decoration there. And then bring in that scratch paper again. Whoops. And we have 2 pieces of Flirty Flamingo cardstock. I'm going to stamp on the smaller one. You can see it's a little bit smaller. I'm going to stamp on this one. This is going to be the front of our card. So I'm going to just randomly stamp that little strawberry. No, the ice cream would cover that. Phew, I messed up. And take your time. Don't rush. I'll make sure that my ice cream covers that one little strawberry that didn't get fully stamped. Okay, so I have it stamped like that, just random. For now, we're done with until our tissue paper dries. And then I'm going to bring in, oh no, let's do this piece. No, that's not that piece, this piece. There's our piece of crumb cake. I'm going to stamp on that with some pecan pie and that great big cone stamp. Just stamp that right there. And then if by chance, well, no, I'm this way. So there's a tag in your kit that you can go ahead and use this little Hope Your Day is Sweet. Let me show you what it looks like. It looks like this. Did I even show you the card yet? That wasn't nice. This is what the card looks like. And this is Hope Your Day is Sweet, can fit right there on there. However, I want a card that looks like this. So it has that happy birthday. So I'm going to bring in this Labeled with Love die and the punch. Now this is our labeled die. This is a stamp. Labeled with Love stamp and the punch. You can also get this as a die bundle that comes with 3 of the dies that are cut the same as the punch. But I have a scrap of paper here. I'm going to first stamp the words, the happy birthday, in some pecan pie. I have come to love this little happy birthday and the border and the punch and the butterflies and I mean, look how cute that stamp is. It just has everything you need for a quick happy birthday card or any occasion, really. Okay, then I'm gonna bring in that Flirty Flamingo and the outline. I think it's easier to stamp the words first. I might get my head in the camera. Let's see if I can get everything in the camera. And look through that border and stamp it like that. Now hopefully, yep, and look, isn't that cute? Love it. Okay, find the punch right here and punch that out. Now in your packet, I have just put this so you could just stamp on that. You won't get the bit, or you just apply your own cardstock and you can make this like this. But I think you could stamp on there too if you're just careful and have a dark background. Okay, let's go ahead and die cut my ice cream out. Now it's this big, we're gonna just cut it like this. I'm gonna set that here. And I'm looking all over for my cutting plate. Look, and it's right here. You have to bear with me. It's been a long day, I guess. Okay. Put that down and cut out my little ice cream cone. Now I'm not going to put this too far away because we need to cut out the top of our ice cream, or the actual ice cream, but I'm going to give that tissue paper as long as I can to dry. So I'm going to show you a little tip. Bring in, where did all my little card pieces go? Brother. Here they are, right here. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this one in half. Using my bone folder to get a nice crisp, and you just fold on that score line. Okay, and then this piece that we stamped on, this is going to make sure I got the back of my card. This is going to go on the front. Just a little bit of tape runner, and layer that right here. Okay, now I need to lay my ice cream on here, or cone. Now we don't want the ice cream cone to show, and you know what, I'm going to put on this side to hide that strawberry, but we don't want our cone to show back here. So I'm going to just take a pencil. Let me get it straight as I can. There we go. And I'm going to just draw a quick line right here so I know where I want to cut my ice cream cone. I'm going to cut the cone. And just trim it off right on that line, right below that line, just something so I won't see the ice cream cone from the back of my card. And then bring this little piece here. Now this piece you could have cut with your die, but I wanted to score it or emboss it, so I embossed it with that weave. I think it's called the cane weave folder. I should have looked that up, but we're gonna just glue with some liquid glue this to the front of our ice cream cone. Then we have that little piece right there. Now with the little piece of twine that came in your packet, we're going to take this and we're going to tie a simple bow around that ice cream cone. And since I want my ice cream on this side of the card, I'm going to put my bow toward this side of the ice cream. Sure, try to tie a bow on camera. What are you thinking, Kathy? Thinking I can do it. There I go. Okay, let's pull that tight. Now let's say, for instance, you're trying to tie your twine around here and you saw the trouble I had, right? And it's not as tight as you want. You could put a little bit of adhesive on the back and pull those strings in and get it tight back there. But look, I did pretty good. I'm going to take it just as is. I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on the back of this and then add it to the front of my card. Now that we know it's not too tall and it'll fit on there just right. Okay, and see my strawberry that's not stamped good? I'm going to just cover him right up. And now, you never knew. Okay, these are a little bit long. Let's trim those. Just a little snip here and a little snip there. And we have our cute little bow. I'm going to go ahead and put my dimensional up on, greetings. I'm going to go ahead and put my greeting up on dimensionals. My dimensionals are buried under ink pads, stamp sets, punches, but I found them. If few little dimensionals there. And then take this and lay it right there. Now let's see how our tissue paper is doing. Hopefully it's dry by now. I'm gonna bring in that scrap paper though, just in case, and I set it down here and lay my paper and make sure it's dry. I don't want ink all, yeah, it's all dry now. So I'm gonna put it, now look, we're gonna use this last piece of Flirty Flamingo. I'm gonna make sure first of all that my tissue paper, or I'm sorry, my ink, my cone will fit on my tissue paper. But you can see it's big enough, so I'm okay. We're not gonna cover the whole piece of cardstock with your tissue paper, so that leaves you room for your fingers, because we're gonna use that glue stick again, and we're gonna cover this Flirty Flamingo in with the glue stick. Now, I think you could use green glue on this one, but trust me, the glue stick is really, it's very easy and simple. And I don't know if I told you, I just got my glue stick at Dollar Tree, Dollar Store, whatever it's called. It goes on purple, it dries clear, and it works just fine, just a cheap glue. Now, I didn't want to press all those crinkles out there, but now you kind of have that texture and that pattern on your cardstock. Okay, we're gonna bring in that Flirty Flamingo again, ink up that big ice cream swirl, and I'm gonna stamp it here right on my tissue paper. Now, when you run this through your die cut machine, it's probably gonna flatten out that tissue paper a little bit more. So if you like it the way it is, you could fussy cut that. I'm not going to. I'm gonna use my dies one last time and cut this out with my die cut machine. Bring in those plates, set my cardstock on there. Or my cardstock and my tissue paper on there. Get all this out of the way so I have room to get my plates in my cut and emboss machine here. Put that cutting pad on the top. Bring in the machine. And we're gonna run this through and cut out our cute little strawberry ice cream. Like that. And there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and add that to the top of our ice cream here. I'm going to use just a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm going to put it here at the base of my ice cream so that way I know there won't be glue where I don't want it back here. So just a little bit, and wait, can I see my, oh, I can. I'm going to trim that down. There we go. I do not want to see my ice cream cone from the back. So a little bit of glue here. And then set that little ice cream right there. Now, before I do that, I'm going to bring in another card because I want to make sure, and I don't think you can, but I want to make sure that my card will fit in an envelope. So I'm going to make sure, yeah, and he won't be tall enough, too tall. If he was up here, he wouldn't fit in an envelope. We wouldn't be able to make him too tall. But there you go. So there's the third and final project of Stamp Club. So let me bring everything back in that we made. So we made the cute little strawberry ice cream, the card that I make for you, the pop-up card that looks like this with a little bit of chip or mint chocolate chip ice cream, and then of course our yummy little treat holder. So there you go. Now let me do a quick reminder that if you want a packet, I have 2 more packets left. All you have to do is place an order, stampinup.com, choose me as your demonstrator. Be sure and use the host code that's in the description below while ordering so I know that you want a packet. If you want to know if there's any packets left, feel free to email me. That's also in the description, and I'll let you know if I have any packets left. Alrighty, thanks for watching, and now I have business for the Stamp Club members. We're voting on 3 different bundles for July and August, and they are the Country Birdhouse bundle. You have to go look them up in your, maybe I have them here. I have them here. Look at this. The Country Birdhouse bundle. The stamp set looks like that. Or the In the Grove bundle. Looks like that. And then the third choice is the Fluffiest Friends. These are all die bundles. I suggest you go to StampinUp.com, you look at the bundles, and then let me know what you choose for July and August. Alrighty, that's what I have for you. Thanks for sticking with me for the whole thing and for all three projects. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.